Hello and welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and this podcast is brought to you by thelegendarychiropractor.com, an interactive and immersive virtual platform for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field wanting just a little bit more from this profession. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you do, be sure to share with a friend, leave us a rate, leave us a review, and also be sure to subscribe to get more. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. Yo! What is going on, legendary chiropractors? Johnny Reuter here with another episode of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I am totally stoked to have you on the show today. And if you're listening later to this on audio podcast, thank you so much for listening to this. I really can't thank listeners enough and viewers enough for everything that you do on a day in and day out basis for us here at the Legendary Chiropractor. Your support means more than you know. It keeps me going, and honestly, I just want to bring value to the future of this chiropractic profession. I went through chiropractic school, graduated in March of 2020, and realistically, I came out of school, I wanted to associate because associating to me was a way to establish myself prior to opening up my own practice, and a way to avoid all of the pitfalls that come with opening your own practice right away. And I didn't want to be another statistic. I didn't want to be the person that came out of school hot, was thinking they were, hot stuff, and then all of a sudden failed in practice, right? So to have some stability, to do some sort of like residency after chiropractic school was the smartest decision I ever made. And I tell you that because today we're talking about types of chiropractic branding, types of branding that you can do as a chiropractic doctor, as a doctor of chiropractic. And when it comes to types of branding, what does that really look like for you? How does that go for your patients? How does that go for your practice? And how can you begin that not only in school like we talked about last season, but also how can you begin to have that conversation and start developing this right now as a doctor of chiropractic and or as an associate doctor who just graduated chiropractic school and is looking to do their own thing in the future, but you have this stepping stone of this residency, of this associateship for 12 to 18 months prior to going out and jumping in on your own. So how do you begin to start branding? This is a conversation that's been on my mind a lot lately, and in a lot of regards, right? Because we built this up with the Legendary Chiropractor. We're building it up right now with Chiropair, our mobile app, our chiropractic employment mobile app that we're going to be launching in April. And then the third thing that I've been thinking about a lot, because it just in general of branding right now, like the Legendary Chiropractor has been established as a brand, as a chiropractic brand for students and recent grads, but Chiropair is going to be a brand, and we're working on brand awareness right now for employers hiring doctors, as well as chiropractic students and candidates that are actually looking for work, right? So where do we meet those people? How do we find those people? And then the other part of this, right? The other part of this is now talking about, I'm pretty much completed on a contract on paper with my associateship in November. It was an 18-month contract, or it is an 18-month contract. And so with that respect, like I need to know what's coming next and how to start planning for it now. And I hopped on a call with a couple of my mentors, and Dr. Kendall, who is my the head chiropractor here at Aurora Chiropractic, is a phenomenal mentor. And so I get to rely on some people who not only support me, but see the vision, see the mission, but can also start to provoke some of these conversations and bring up some of these conversations that I need to start thinking about now and not later, right? So one of the conversations that comes up often is what types of branding can you do to start establishing yourself even before you open up your doors, especially as a doctor of chiropractic, right? You have your license, you've been adjusting people, and you have pretty much every detail in your state figured out. And if you're continuing to open up in your chiropractic, in your state where you're practicing chiropractic as an associate doc, where are you going to open up? How are you going to brand yourself? And what are you going to use to draw people into your doors? Especially during COVID, you're listening to this post-COVID, or especially in the future, if you're listening to this on audio podcast about 3 to 6 months later, you're listening to this post-COVID, right? And so things have changed, right? You're not necessarily going out doing a bunch of screening events or, doing a screening event at the mall or doing all of these different things where you're physically in touch with your new clientele and your new patients. Now, can you do some of those things? Absolutely. Can you do run-of-the-mill vendor events? Absolutely. And do they still exist? Yes, they do. However, we are seeing an uptick or an uprising of social media marketing, Google ads, and really honing in on platforms and CRM management programs, client management programs that not only do a lot that a team member can do, but also make it so much easier for your job, for your front desk and your employees, to bring in and onboard new patients into your practice, right? And it's really just that initial, let's get them in the door, let's get them signed up for their first visit, and then let's do the rest. Let's let our systems and processes that we have in place in the practice work for themselves, right? But a couple different versions of branding. 1, there's personal branding. 2, there's practice branding. And 3, there is social media and marketing branding, right? Internet marketing branding. So first of all, personal branding is how you are perceived in your local community. How are you perceived in your local community? Meaning, how do you go about each and every day communicating chiropractic, health and wellness, and how do you attract people into your life, into your practice using those types of things? The second thing is professional branding. Professional branding is in the sense of like, okay, what does your practice stand for? What's your mission statement? What are your core values? How do you, when you onboard patients, what are you talking about on that first visit? What are your what's your table talk on that first visit? What are your office policies? How do you attract your ideal client into the practice? What type of branding are you doing to attract that ideal patient, right? If it's something like pregnant mamas and kiddos, your logo better represents something in regards to pregnant mamas and kiddos in regards to your practice. You're not going to say like Johnny Reuter sports chiropractic and be like, oh, I only see pregnant moms and kids. It's like, that doesn't really work, right? Like that doesn't add up. So I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and in regards to social media marketing and internet marketing, the game has changed tremendously. 1, because for so little amount of money, you can attract a high volume amount of clientele from social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is another big one, and obviously Google AdWords and AdSense, right? So really start to hone in on that, figure that out, find out what works for you, and what you really find to be necessary in regards to marketing to your community. What messages are you saying to your community? Are you running a deal in your office? If so, is it of value to people? How many spots are available? And then what kind of system on the back end, internet wise, are you putting them into, right? Is it just a email campaign list, or is it an entire CRM program, right? Where people are being managed on the behind the scenes so that it makes your life a heck of a lot easier, and it makes your front desk staff a heck of a lot happier because it's easy to maintain, it's easy to manage, and you can do different things within the program to make sure that things are working appropriately. Calendar bookings are appropriate. You can set your times. You can get your new patients. You can get your reports scheduled through there, and people can get reminders through that same program. So it doesn't really matter if you're using a program like SCED is a great onboarding program for new patients and things like that. And it's also a good program for touch-based points, right, within your practice. But with that being said, use whatever is going to work for you on the behind the scenes, but you got to have some sort of management system to handle new patients, onboard new patients. And then once you're in your office, you should be using systems and procedures that just work to make sure that they are signing up for care, getting under care, and you're changing their life. Right? So think about those things. The 3 things you're thinking about is personal branding. How are you messaging to your community when you are a chiropractor or a person that is looked at as an expert and a doctor in your community? The second thing is professional branding. What is your niche market? How are you marketing to those clients? What types of branding are you doing to attract those ideal clients? And then lastly, internet marketing, social media marketing. How are you attracting people on the internet and getting them into your doors to make sure that they can become patients on your table so that you can change more lives through chiropractic care? With that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a powerful day today. And I thank you so much for listening to this on audio podcast, for watching this live, and for sharing this with your friends. Please don't ever forget to leave us a rate, leave us a review. I thank our sponsors every single episode because our sponsors make this show happen. And honestly, I had a comment from someone, a listener, and if they're still listening to this, it'd be kind of funny if they heard this because I'm going to call them out. They left a review and they gave me 1 star on the review because there were too many ads, right? Or too many sponsors. I'm sorry, but like the sponsors make this show happen. So we have them to thank for this. And the reason I'm able to go live twice a week for you guys, and the reason we're able to release an audio podcast episode once a week for you guys and bring the value, bring the content, is because of our show sponsors. So I have the utmost respect for them. I have the utmost honor for them, and thanks and gratitude to them. And I think you guys should too. Visit the link, legendarychiropractor.com/sponsors. Check out their stuff. Check out what they're giving away. A lot of them are giving away free stuff, which is super awesome and very helpful for you in your chiropractic career and journey, especially as a student and a recent graduate. So if that person is listening to this, who gave me that 1-star review, I do apologize, right? For not understanding, that the sponsors really do make this show happen. But also too is, I really, seeing a 1-star review based on that comment of like too many sponsors, too many ads, just it doesn't resonate with me, right? I just want you to get the content. I just want you to understand the value that you're getting in each and every video, in each and every audio podcast. So without further ado, I hope that, if you want to reach out to me personally, I'd love to kind of explain through the process of how this works. But I also would love your support and your appreciation for what we're doing here at the Legendary Chiropractor, producing podcast episodes for you. And we're able to do that through sponsorships and the continuance of publishing to platforms and doing the things that we do, because without them, we don't have any capital. And without any capital, you're not able to reach people. And without reaching people, you have no audience, you have no voice, you have no fight, right? So with them, I thank the sponsors. And I also wanted to call that comment out, or that review out, because if you're listening to this, I hope you understand where we're coming from. And I really hope that you continue to listen to this, because I want you to be successful on your chiropractic journey. And with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me directly. But I would love your 5-star reviews, your rates, your reviews, because that's what makes us better. That's what grows us on the charts. That's what brings us up first when you type in legendary. So all of those things matter to us. So I love you guys. I'm done with the selfish plugs. I appreciate you. And I thank you so much for listening to the show, listening to this episode. And I hope you have a phenomenal and rest of your powerful week this week. Peace and love, my friends. Bye. Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of Chiro Secure Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made ChiroSecure the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chirosecure.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. Dr. Brad Glowacki runs one of the highest volume, highest profile, highest profitability practices in the world, and it's all run with vitalistic communication procedures. Those procedures from his office are then shared with other chiropractors at his various trainings as a part of Level Up Mentoring. This information is created, developed, tested, and then packaged simplistically before being taught. With bruises and scars from making mistakes, Dr. Glow always delivers refined content that is battle-tested and simplified for use on Monday. To level up your life and practice, head over to levelupmentoring.rocks. That's levelupmentoring.rocks. Again, I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and you're listening to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for engaging with us on all of our platforms, including, but not limited to, Facebook and Instagram, all at The Legendary Chiropractor. Be sure to check our home site out at thelegendarychiropractor.com, as we have much to offer for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field. And lastly, I'd like to thank not only you, our listener, but also our podcast sponsors. Without them, this show wouldn't be possible. So I encourage you to go check out their websites and what they have to offer in the show notes for this episode. Thanks again. Stay legendary, my friends.